kicked off my ass. I gotta come back over. You guys just play some.
Do you want to grab a pick now? That can happen.
Don't be scared. You think somebody took the picks off mine? Did you take the picks off?
No one, I bet you the picks are still there.
These are my best friends in the world, and they're my favorite musicians at the same time. So when we couldn't play, it was a heartbreak. So anytime we have the opportunity to do so, we feel lucky. We lived this long is sort of impressive. But we didn't change very much. We've been through a lot, but we're not very different people. We don't even sound that different as a band. I don't feel like there's much to look back on because we just kept our world intact. I feel like they forget faster than Americans. I trust Americans to always show up when we play. But in Europe and Great Britain, styles change so rapidly that I never know if anyone's going to remember us from one tour to the next. Americans are very slow and they'll stick around, they'll always come, but I never know. And this time they've been great. They've been showing up.
And then I would say on the contrary, I feel like because of that, there is a really like a genuine respect for our history here because it did start here. You know, the first record didn't come out in the States. It was only an import.
We were tiny babies, and we were so homesick that we would sing old folk songs on the van about being homesick after the shows.
It was exciting because it was the first time we were all seeing Europe. We had already played in the UK, but it was the first time that both bands were seeing Europe. So that was fun.
It felt very strong to be in a position where both bands were sort of different sides of a similar coin, and we had a presentation that was very raw, and that was okay. We weren't supposed to be produced in any way. That was a good position to be in. I think after that, more production was expected of us, both in the studio and live, and that's unfortunate. We now much prefer to keep everything lo-fi and raw, and then you can see the muscles working, you can see the human facial expressions. There's no wall between the band and the audience. Whenever you have an emotion that's too far gone for you to embrace within your skin, and you see it resonate somewhere, especially for me in sound, because it's a barrage, it actually bumps into you. A painting doesn't bump into you, a dance doesn't bump into you, but sound blasts you. And when the emotions that are trapped within you, because you don't want them to match in sound, it's like a religious experience, and it seems to be how people respond when they respond the right way. You know, we're not for everybody. We're never going to be for everybody. But the people to whom we matter a lot. And we just made a record with almost 40 songs on it, because there's nobody to tell us not to make a record with 40 songs on it. There's no record company. And we're about to mix it after this tour. So, you know, if we had decided to say, we broke up, then we couldn't do this tour, we couldn't do that record, there'd be less music on the planet. But for 10 years, we didn't have the money to work. It's just now because of fans, we do again. The music, which is about 10% of what we end up doing on tour. But it's sweet, it's romantic that you can live for that 10% of your day and nothing else matters.